Well, hello folks. Today I decided to make a video to do a little recording primarily for two purposes. One of them is venting. I just want to vent and I want to share it with you all. And then the second one is I feel personally responsible to share my appreciation for Eli Dicken, who happened to be at the Indiana shopping mall with his girlfriend last Sunday, July 17th, when the shooter was out there, who started shooting actually, and he killed 3 people, unfortunately. So basically, we were very lucky that those people were super lucky that Eli happened to be there with his legally owned carry gun, and he did not hesitate. Even a split second, he basically pulled his gun and shot him and totally neutralized the shooter. I think he shot 8 rounds, if I'm not mistaken. So what I like to, again, like I said, I just felt personal responsibility and also need to share this with anybody here who loves his freedom, and also who respect the U.S. Constitution and Second Amendment rights, who guarantees the God-given rights of bearing arms for American citizens. So in addition to that, I want to elaborate a little bit of this situation and also bring in, as expected, the discussions from the other side, the anti-gun or gun control community. So Eli Dicken, who is 22 years old and who just happened to be peacefully strolling in the shopping mall with his girlfriend, saw this intruder who just stepped out of the bathroom, and immediately, that particular instant that he stepped out of the bathroom, he started shooting, and unfortunately 3 lives were lost. But with his involvement, within 2 minutes, initially it was 2 minutes, actually then they corrected, and it was actually 15 seconds. 15 seconds after the shooter started shooting, Mr. Dicken pulled his gun and neutralized the shooter. Who knows how many lives was saved? Untold amount of lives, maybe dozens, were saved by his heroic action. So Elijah Dicken is nothing but hero. So again, one more time, I just want to share with you all my sincere and true and deep appreciation for Elijah Dicken. So now let's go a little deeper into this. First off, state of Indiana, as of July 1st, became the, I think, 25th state of constitutional carry. Because I remember sharing this on my Facebook as Indiana being the 25th state. So right now, half the states were at the 50% level as far as providing the constitutional carry rights. In July 17, just 17 days after, he happened to be in the area, and that area, the shopping mall, happened to be one of those gun-free zones. In other words, everybody in gun-free zones are sitting ducks, just like we witnessed in this case in Greenwood Park, Indiana, Greenwood Park shopping mall. And Mr. Dicken just happened to be there with his gun. If there was no constitutional carry, nobody would be helping with the situation, and who knows how many people were going to be killed. Now, speaking of the constitutional carry, this is what I want to add here. I'm amazed, and I'm equally disgusted with the comments that are coming from the gun control or anti-gun lobby. The radical left, Democratic, liberal, anti-gun lobby. This is what they're saying. if there wasn't any constitutional carry, the crime would have been less. In other words, what they're implying is, they're not even implying, they're saying this explicitly, that constitutional carry is one of the major driving forces behind the crime with firearms. Not even looking at the fact that because of the same constitutional carry, Eli Dicken was able to neutralize the shooter and save an untold amount of lives. But this fact is going to challenge their narrative so severely and seriously to the point that they will do and say anything. They will spread all kinds of lies, as they always do, manipulate the facts, twist the facts, to be able to maintain their narrative. Their narrative is, we all know, is people, law-abiding citizens owning guns is the driving force behind the crime, which we also know well, this cannot be any further from truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I earn my living working as a data analyst. I work with data, and I have respect in what I do. I take a lot of pride in my work, because my work is about doing data analysis, finding the facts, finding the data to support whatever the hypothesis is. So the reason I'm saying that is this: I will make yet another video to come up with those ridiculous allegations or ridiculous claims that the liberals and Democrats are coming forward, to be able to further or strengthen their agenda, their narrative, which is obviously the ultimate goal is to eliminate all the guns and to remove all the weapons, all the guns that are legally owned and in the possession of the public who are law-abiding, law-respecting citizens. But that's not the subject matter of this video. I might be kind of touching a couple maybe numbers and stuff, but that's about it. So I just want to share this with you. So is it not amazing, ladies and gentlemen? Is it not amazing that after even this kind of incident, where the police department in Greenwood, Indiana, is openly and explicitly praising this guy, this young guy, 22-year-old Eli, for his heroic, absolute heroic action, and yes, what he did was nothing less than pure heroism. He was with his girlfriend. He pushed his girlfriend aside to safety, and he pulled his gun, and he was in the meantime waving the other people to kind of get behind him and go towards the other exits available. So he was facing the shooter, who was holding AR-15. What he hit was his Glock. I don't know the model of the Glock. Maybe the information is not available yet, or maybe I wasn't able to find it yet. It's not important. He pulled his Glock, and he basically emptied 8 or 10. I'm hearing different numbers. 8 or 10 rounds on this shooter, and he immediately killed him. And the distance that he did that was 40 yards. 40 yards. Think about it. Imagine yourself in the shooting range, pistol range. 40 yards is a huge distance. I personally, only with one gun, and that was my Ruger 22, which is my target practice gun for absolute accuracy. Only that gun I use at that distance. Any other guns shooting 9mm or 45 or 30 specials or whatever the other calibers, I never try 40 yards because I know, my accuracy won't be anything as I like to have. So I typically use 5 to 10 yards, to be honest with you. So believe me, next time I'm going to go ahead and try that. 40 yards, not with 22 Ruger Mark IV. It is Mark II, or my Caltech PMR 30, which I'm also using using Winchester Magnums, also 22s. But other than those, this time I'm going to try it with 9mm, try to see how I do, how well I can do at 40 yards. It's an amazing distance. It's a very long distance to be effective with a handgun. And the fact that this guy at 40 yards stopped that threat, and don't forget that the threat is not static, just like in the shooting range. It's not a paper threat and just there standing for you to be shot at. He's moving. So what it did was, talent-wise, perfect, wonderful, wonderful performance. And of course, from the moral perspective, what he did, from the heroism perspective, is a perfect example. Perfect example for anybody who has a legal option to carry a gun, whether it's by permit like myself. I live in the state of Minnesota, and the state of Minnesota is not a constitutional carry state, so I have to have a permit. I do have a permit, and I carry with that permit. Or anyone like in those 25 states who allow constitutional carry. So for anybody who is a law-abiding, who has a respect for law, and who has integrity, has this kind of obligation in that kind of situation, and he has basically, he provided us, for all of us, a perfect example that we all should be compliant with under the similar circumstances. So carrying a gun comes with lots of responsibilities. I don't have to repeat this. We all know that. And he displayed the utmost example for the moral responsibility of carrying a handgun by a law-abiding citizen example. One more time, the saying, it takes a good guy with a gun to stop a bad guy with a gun. One more time, it has been proven, and proven so explicitly beyond any reason of doubt. So, still doesn't matter how explicit, how well, how clear it was, doesn't matter. The radical left, the liberals, the Democratic establishment will say anything and everything to twist this fact. To twist this fact. Somebody was using the term vigilante. Like, we should not let people carrying guns like a vigilante style to stop the crime. I heard that too. Where is the vigilante, ladies and gentlemen, here? He was not there to commit to some kind of vigilante action. He was there strolling in a very relaxed manner with his girlfriend, just Sunday afternoon, walking around, having a good time. Where is vigilante? He just happened to be there with his gun when this incident started taking place, and he did not hesitate to get involved. Yet, these disgusting radicals do not mind saying this kind of, spreading this kind of lies. They just don't. They don't see stopping. They just can't stop providing ridiculously sicko examples to support their narrative. And also, speaking of that incident, it is still fresh in my mind. It will probably stay fresh for a long time. What happened in Uvalde, Texas? How many police officers were there in Uvalde, Texas when that shooting was taking place, and when that sicko killed 20 kids and their teacher? There was, I think, close to 40 police officers in full gear, all weapons and everything, yet they had all kinds of excuses for not getting involved. Close to 1 hour. Close to 1 full hour. They did not do anything to protect those young children. Oh, I'm sorry, I take it back. They were busy doing something outside. You know what they were busy with, right? Parents of those kids were around the perimeter, and they were screaming on the top of their lungs to those police officers for them to get involved, to get in the building and stop the shooter. Yet, instead of doing this, instead of doing their job that they were responsible with, which is protecting the public, they were arresting those parents because they were kind of going out of hand, and you're screaming at them and saying, go help my kid. My kid is in there. They were arresting those people. This is the level of disgust at the extreme level that I'd like to share one more time with you here about the Uvalde police force. Every single one of them should be stripped of their badges, their uniforms, their guns, and they should not be compensated. They should not get salary, no position, no job opportunities in the police force ever, and no pension if they were close to their pension. Because it was utterly, absolute, highest level of failure. In the presence of extreme danger and explicit danger, they refuse to protect the public. They refuse to protect those children, those kids. On the other hand, fast forward to July 17, last Sunday. It took one guy, a 22-year-old, in shorts and t-shirt. They were all looking, they were talking about not having enough gear. Don't forget that. In shorts and t-shirt, with a single gun on his person, and with huge heart and integrity. That kid, I can call him kid, I'm much older than him, Eli Dicken, just walk up to the threat and stop the threat by killing the threat. Awesome job. Awesome job. God bless you, Eli. God bless you. Now go back again to Uvalde, Texas. All those police officers were busy just standing out and busy arresting those parents whose kids were being butchered. There was one good Samaritan who happened to be in the region, and again by chance, who happened to be in the region, in the proximity, in the area, who was also, and currently still is probably, a U.S. border patrolman, with his personal, legally owned and carried gun. He did not hesitate. He barged in, and he stopped the threat. Unfortunately, it was too late. God bless him. God bless him equally. He's a hero too. But, it's not up to him. It wasn't up to him. 20 children. I can never forget their pictures. When I look at those pictures, it was one of the saddest days of my life. I was so sad to see those 20 young kids going to grade school were butchered like that. And I don't know how to contain my anger about the Uvalde Police Department, because I believe there was something behind that, and they were ordered to stand down. Maybe I still can't bring myself to say that those officers were that ugly bastards. I still can't bring myself to say that. I believe there's something else. Somehow they were ordered to stand down. I don't know what it is, but whatever it was, for me there's no way of knowing. But one thing I want to share with y'all, whatever that was, whatever the cause it was, to basically preventing them from getting involved and stopping the intruder, the shooter, was extremely disgusting agenda. So this is what I wanted to share with you, friends. Venting about the fact that, this extreme example that we just witnessed last Sunday. Yet the radical left, anti-gun community, is working hard now because they know that these kinds of incidents are absolutely damaging deeply their narrative. The narrative we all know very well. I want to share with you one more thing. That is the one I was referring to also, about numbers and statistics. And like I said, I will have another video about that. There are lots of statistics. Statistics, as you know, about everything, and obviously about the crime, firearms, all kinds of things involving firearms and crime. One of them is, what is the percentage, the number of cases that each year a person with legally owned gun stop a shooter, as we witnessed in Indiana. And the numbers they give is way, way less than what it actually is. Because this is because of the way they look at the data, they present the data and their assumptions, and when they built their statistical model, the way they built it is such that they try to basically express the actual figure down to 15%. What they're saying is only 15% of the cases, the shooting cases like this, the mass shooter cases, only 15% were prevented by somebody who happened to be in the area and who was brave enough to use his gun or her gun to stop the shooter. In reality, this number is not 15%. In reality, this number is about 47%. And this is the one that I was referring to. This is the kind of video I'm going to do, and I want to basically do a good job, like I always try to do in my job as a data analyst, and compile the data, research, compile it, put it together, and then share it with you again. That the number is not as low as 15% that as radical left like us to believe, like everyone else to believe, but the fact is it's close to about 47%. Obviously, I mean, it's almost half. It's almost half. The data shows that, almost half the shootings, the mass shootings in this country is prevented, has been prevented by somebody, a good Samaritan, who was a law-abiding citizen, who happened to be in the proximity, who had a gun on his legal owned gun on his person, and had integrity to use it to save lives. Social media or corporate-owned news networks, news outlets, they will never share this kind of data. They will never share with anybody, with public, this kind of data, because they know that, hey, it's going to be super destructive to their narrative. There is yet another data I'd like to share with you, is again from the police records throughout the nation, the state level, federal level, state level, local government level, municipality level. There are about, give and take, close to 2 million incidents each year. This is not mass shootings. This is all the crime, all type of crimes, including firearms, such as robbery, home intrusion, things like that. Anything you can imagine. 2 million times people, potential victims, use their own guns to save their own lives, or their loved ones, their families' lives, or their friends' lives. I mean, the crime took place a lot more than that. But this is how many times the law-abiding citizens did actually resort to their right of using their legally owned guns to protect their own lives or loved ones' lives. Have you ever heard this kind of statistics? I'm going to bet you anything that you have not, unless you've been involved with your own research. Then that's a different story. But you haven't heard it. I haven't heard it. I haven't seen anything, heard anything like this from the typical news outlets. Why is that? Where is that data coming from? If you ask me, it is coming from the police records and court records, and compiled by NRA and similar institutions, maybe NSSA, National Shooting Sports Association, NRA, ILA, or other gun-friendly organizations. It's not made-up data. It is federal data. But the research of it and and compiling it in a way to report on that data, to share it with public, is not something that the news media will ever do, because we know that they're at the service of different masters. Their agenda, their master's agenda, is different. Openly, I'm going to share it one more time. I'm going to say it one more time. The agenda of the radical left is to eliminate all the guns from the public possession, until the point that not a single person is armed. Only and only, according to them, the police, the military, the government can have guns, not public. And owning and bearing arms is a God-given right. It is not a government-given right. It's a God-given right, guaranteed by the United States Constitution's Second Amendment. And those involved with the treason in Congress are working hard every day to deprive the people of this right. And there are no levels that they can't sink down to be able to do this, to spread lies, to manipulate lies, to fabricate lies, to be able to create a public opinion which is not based on truth or reality or facts, like that's one of the ones I just mentioned, number of people using guns. But they will spread all kinds of lies and build their narrative based on nothing but lies. And in the process of doing that, there is no level low enough for them to sink. That's why I use the term disgusting for them. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I want to share with you today. One more time, I'm going to close it up here. I'm going to wrap it up. One more time, I'm going to close it with my sincere and absolute appreciation